How to improve employee engagement in the workplace. Tune in. Good morning. Thank you for joining me, Coach Michael, on your Monday morning. How to improve employee engagement in the workplace. Unengaged employees is costing the U.S. economy anywhere from $300 and $900 billion annually in lost productivity. So if you don't want to be a statistic in this workplace of low productivity, you need to create strategies to create employee engagement. One of the first things I do to really get the engagement going with the team is I get with an organization, we create a vision, a mission, and a culture. The vision is the big picture of where you're going. The mission of how you're going to show up and deliver that vision. And the culture or core values becomes the glue, the way the team is going to show up and deliver to the customers. Now, when I do that, I work with the owners and we work with the team to get their input on creating the vision, the mission, and the culture. When you get their input and you create the vision and the team gives their input and then you get the thumbs up and it's perfect. Then you go on to the mission. You create it, you get the team's input, and you get it to where you want, thumbs up, you move on. Then you go to the culture. You pick the culture points, the words. You get the team's approval, some contribution, some opinions, thoughts. You get to where it wants to be, great. Then you create one-liners for each one. So by the time the vision, mission, culture is done, your entire team helped you create it. They're part of it. They own it. You've immediately engaged them to be part of creating the vision, mission, culture of the organization. Now, those are the rules of the game. Anytime somebody's out of alignment with the culture, you bring right back to it because they align them. They created it. Anytime you bring a new member to the organization, you have your team interview them and see if they align with the culture. What's another way to keep employees engaged? Ask great questions. Leadership and management burnout is another statistic that leads to lack of productivity in workplaces. And leaders and managers, not necessarily are they scrubbed up and coached up on the proper skills they need to adapt to be great leaders and great managers. But one of the great things they could do is ask questions, engage the team. Do not always give the answers. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with organizations that they get frustrated with their team always comes to them and asks questions. And I simply ask, well, what do you do? Well, I give them the answer just to get rid of them so I can go back to work. So what does that strategy do? You're training your team to not have to do the work to get the answer, and they will always come to you. When you're talking to somebody on your team, ask questions. I'm curious, what would you do? What do you think makes the most sense? When you're talking, somebody else may or may not be listening. But if you ask questions, their brain has to go to another level because they have to start thinking. They have to think of the question. They have to think of how they're going to answer it. They have to go a little deeper. And don't let them off the hook either. Don't take some lame answer and say, okay, no. Keep asking questions until you get what you're looking for. Make them do the work. The first answer is always a surface answer, and the surface answer is never really the real answer. Keep digging with questions. You'll get good at it, and the more you calmly ask questions, you will guide your team to make decisions, to get them more engaged, to get them to take more ownership, and align with taking a little bit more accountability in themselves so they can start leading it. So these are just a couple of things you can do to keep your team engaged. Also, I recommend to anybody, if you've never been to the Amazon Fulfillment Center, wherever you live, make it a point to do. I went with a bunch of entrepreneurs one day. I truly understood that I would see logistics and systems in play. That's a given. But the culture they had, the way they took care of the team, the way they united people, they built that team alignment. And that's what most impressed me. So engage your team, ask them questions, get them involved. And the best thing you can do that makes people shine is ask for their opinion. They're in the trenches. They're doing the work. Ask what they think. Have brainstorming meetings. Engage with them. You do just these couple of little things I've taught you today, and you will no longer be a statistic of those unproductive employment employees that are costing the U.S. economy billions of dollars in lost productivity. Engage with your team, ask them questions, get them involved, make them feel they're part of the journey, and you will have engaged employees. And when you have engaged employees, they're productive, they're happy, and what does that do? Automatically drips to the bottom line, and that's why we're in business. So as always, I want to thank you for joining me, Coach Michael, on your Monday morning. I want to wish you a productive, profitable week. Go get them. I'll see you next time.